in 2020, I think 2021, the UK introduced this new postgraduate study route where people can now come to the UK, do their study, and then after that they have 2 years right to work in the UK full time. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Before I go into this topic, I want to put a disclaimer up and say, please watch this video with an open mind. Watch till the end to get the gist of exactly what I'm saying before you jump to conclusions. This is just me giving advice based off of my own personal experience, okay? A lot of people lately have been immigrating to the UK. Firstly, because the UK started this postgraduate study visa where you get to stay in the UK to work 2 years after school, rather than what it used to be in the past. In the past, when you come to the UK for school, you're done with school, you go back home, or you try to find a way to get a job that would sponsor you to stay, and you usually used to have just 4 months to stay, 4 months or so to stay back, which is not enough time for anyone to actually get a job, get sponsorship and all of that. So the purpose of this video is to make you aware of the realities of what the postgraduate study visa is. And the first thing you need to do before you choose any type of visa, before you relocate at all, before you leave your home, is to ask yourself one question: why do you want to relocate? Is it because there's this jackpot thing and everybody's doing jackpot, and that's why you want to leave? Don't do it because everyone else is doing it. You need to ask yourself a simple question. Is it because there are no jobs in your country and then you're looking for a way to go and get a job to get more stability? Do you understand? To be able to pay your bills? Is it because there's no security where you are, for example, that even though you have a job, even though you have a business, it's not secure, you can't predict what's going to happen next, you don't have any kind of security, your future is not sure? Is it because you're thinking about your children, maybe the future of your children, you have a family and you're thinking that the country where you are is not looking good for them and it doesn't look like in the next few years it's going to look good for them, so you want to go start a life for them somewhere else? Whatever the reason, you need to be clear about it, and it shouldn't just be because everyone is leaving, why not me? Next thing you need to consider, what options are available to you. Are you going to Canada? Are you going to the US? Are you going to the UK? Are you going to New Zealand? Are you going to Germany? Are you going to Italy? Wherever, where is it that you want to go based on what it is that you are actually looking for? So if at the end of the day you decide that you want to go to the UK because one, there's the post-study graduate visa route, there's the skilled professional route, and then there's the healthcare route or whatever, all of that. And then looking at all of these options, which one works better for you? Which one can you get? So if you decide that you're immigrating to the UK through the post-study visa route, that's the postgraduate study visa route, you need to know everything about that route. You need to take your time. A lot of you do not take your time to do proper research. You watch videos where people just tell you, oh, the UK now has this new immigration route, oh, the UK now has this, and then you just jump on it. You're changing your life, you're picking up everything and starting fresh. You need to take time, at least a month or two, to do proper research. The internet is available to everyone. For example, when you're on a study visa, you can only work 20 hours. Right? And then you know how much it is you need to pay to come to school here. The school fee is going to be between £9,000 to 14,500 or 15,000 pounds. You need to be sure that that's something that you can afford. That's one. After you have your school fees in hand, you need to be able to have your cost of living expenses for 9 months. I think that's about 9,000 or 10,000 pounds in addition to your school fees. That's two. Secondly, when you want to come in here, you need to be sure that you have a roof over your head. Firstly, if you come in here as an immigrant for the first time, you don't have any credit history here, you don't have anything here, people are not just excited to start putting you in their houses. It will take you at least, on average, I'm just saying on average, it could be less, it could even be more, it will take you on average 3 months to find a house to live in, to find a house to rent. Because one, when you want to rent a place that is not your student accommodation, that's bringing you here, technically is the school sponsoring you if you're coming here for post-study visa. So if you're not staying in student accommodation, then it means it will take you at least 3 months to find a place to live. If you don't have family, you don't have friends who are going to put you up in their homes. And putting people up in this country is difficult because it means that this person has to potentially clothe you, they have to potentially feed you, they have to potentially pay for the extra bills that you will incur when you live with them, because you will use more electricity, you will use more water, and you pay for everything here. So not everybody is very, you know, excited about accommodating someone. But fine, let's say you have someone who's going to accommodate you based off of their own pocket for while you're here initially. It will take you about 3 months, because the landlords, they will need to do reference checks. Some of them need to see your bank account history. Some of them will ask you for a guarantor, which you may not have. So before you pack all your bags and come in here, you need to think about it. If it will take me average of 3 months to get a place to stay, am I able to get the place before I come here? Like while you're in your home country, are you able to make the arrangements for where you're gonna live? If you're coming alone, you can do flat share, which means it will be cheaper for you. So you can live in a 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment with someone and you're just paying for your room. That's cheaper. And even if you want to do that, they may still ask you for references. They may still ask you for guarantors, or they may not. It depends on, you know, how lucky you are or what kind of landlords you end up with. Do you understand? And then that's one. You need to think, where would I live? If you're not able to find somewhere to live, no one to live with, it means that you're going to be hopping around Airbnbs and hotels for the first 1, 2, 3, 4 months until you find a place to live. That's not going to be cheap, because you're going to be paying for those accommodations in pounds. Paying a hotel accommodation, Airbnb, is more expensive than renting a place. But you can't just get up and rent a place. You have to pass all those checks. You have to do all of the things, fill all the requirements, or fulfill all the requirements that they ask you for. So let's say you don't come here with enough money, and then you're hopping Airbnb hotels and people are sending you out of their houses and all of that. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be stranded before you even start to do anything. How are you going to focus on the school you came here to do? How are you going to start planning for your future? That's just one thing. Secondly, let's say you have a place to stay, right? Let's say that's covered. You've paid your school fees. You know you're only able to work 20 hours, meaning you can't depend on what you're going to earn. Do you understand? You can't depend completely on what you're going to earn. It means that before you get up and come in here, through the postgraduate study route, you should already have a plan. You need to have a plan for how you will live. And then with all of that in mind, you now come in here by yourself and you think that you're able to work your 20-hour jobs to survive and feed yourself, clothe yourself, do everything and still send money home. That's very unrealistic. So what I usually tell people when they say they're coming here, especially if they're married, is if you can find somewhere in your home country where your kids can stay first while you come in here, do that. Because in my experience, it's easier when the father and the mother come in here first. While one person is going to school and working 20 hours, the other person is the dependent who came in with the person. So let's say your wife is going to school, she can work only 20 hours. The husband is dependent, meaning he can work full time. Do you understand me? So that's double, 2 streams of income. So your focus should be on the first 6 months that we are here, because I think you need to bring in your children or your dependents within 6 months. So it means you need to find a way to stabilize within 6 months, right? So 2 of you will come here. One person is going to school, the other person is the one doing the full-time jobs, running around trying to make the money, and while the other person is doing 20-hour shifts, so that you can now sort yourself out, find accommodation that is suitable for you to bring your children to, because you can't just bring your children into a 1-bedroom apartment and cramp all of them in. You need to have at least a 2-bedroom apartment or a 3-bedroom apartment, and to do that you need money. It's not going to be cheap. Do you understand? So when you've sorted yourself out, you can now bring the children, because if you come here with the children in the first instance, who's going to do childcare? You both cannot work, because when one person is going to school, the other person has to stay and look after the children, meaning you cannot earn enough money. Let me just leave it there. I don't want to be too much on that, but ask questions, ask people. Another thing you need to consider is the potential income, what you're going to be earning when you come in here, not just in the short term but in the long term. Here's what I mean. If you fulfill all of the other requirements and you're ready and you've come in here, right, and you're ready, you can afford to rent your place, you can afford to come here and start your life, and then you bring the children, all of that is sorted. You need to start thinking long term, that when I come into the UK, what is going to be my potential income? You know, how much am I going to be earning possibly in the beginning? Now, this is the reality. when you come in here, you're working 20-hour jobs. That's minimum wage is what, like £10 a month or so, meaning you're earning, maybe let's say you're earning 21k a year. Divide 21k by 12 months, right? That's for someone probably working full-time, right? That's 40 hours, let's say. So the person can earn £21,000. Divide that and see what you'll be earning monthly. Is that going to be able to pay your rent? Is that going to be able to do all of that for you? Then you now need to understand that if I'm earning 21k when I first come here, because you cannot come here expecting to land the big job. You didn't come here through skilled work visa where you already got this professional high level job and you're doing fine. If you come in here through that, that's fine. But if you're coming here to postgraduate study visa, then you need to understand that while you're here as a dependent, it's a 50-50 chance. You may be able to get a professional job based on your skill and experience and be earning higher than minimum wage when you get here. Lucky you. There's also the possibility that you may have to start with minimum wage jobs, or you may have to start with doing physical jobs that you weren't really doing in your home country. Maybe warehouse jobs, maybe delivery driver, maybe taking care of elderly people and all of that. If that's not something that you want to do, then you need to start building on your skills, or you need to take a step back and think about it. I don't know, I'm just being very realistic here. Summarily, you need to be clear about what the likely initial earnings will be when you come to the UK, at least for the first year when you're here. I'm talking about the full-time dependent. If you're coming alone, well, I think you're fine because you don't have to worry about childcare. You don't have to worry about bringing anybody here. You don't have to, there's a lot less for you to worry about if you're a single person. But what I've noticed in this country is 2 people go further together. Childcare is very expensive. You need to plan it in before you move here. What you're earning, you need to be aware of what you're earning, because it will still be taxed, and it's whatever you have left after tax that's going to be your survival money for you and your family. Next thing I want to say is that there's no time. You need to start whatever long-term plan you have immediately you get here. Don't think that, oh, maybe I'm doing a 2-year course, so this is just January, I'm just starting, I have January till December. No, you don't have January till December. You have now, because you have no advantages. There is nothing that's on your side in this place. If you didn't grow up here, you're not originally from the UK, you immigrated here, you have no UK experience, you've never worked here before, you don't expect to get some sort of advantages over people that have experience here. So when you get to go looking for a job, they will ask you if you have UK experience, and it's a disadvantage for you already that you do not have UK experience. You need to be realistic. To get that UK experience, you may need to start taking jobs that don't pay you so much, right? And you don't want to wait to start taking all those jobs after you're done with school. I don't know if you get my point. So what I'm saying is, for example, when you come in here, start applying for jobs immediately you settle. Say within 1 week, within 1 or 2 months of you getting here. There is no time. Start applying for jobs. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I know that they're going to tell the student that they don't want students. They usually say, I don't want student, we don't want student, we want full-time, we want full-time. So that's challenging for you. But what I'm saying is, if you can get jobs where you're just offering your services for free, they don't pay you, or they just pay you transportation or whatever while you're in school, start to do that. You know why? You need to get UK work experience on your CV before you finish school. Don't worry about, I don't have time to breathe, I don't have time to live my life. You didn't come here to live your life, you came here to start fresh. So that first year, that 1 or 2 years you're spending in school, you already know what your advantages or disadvantages are when you're in this place. You have no UK experience. That's the reality. So you need to find a way to grow that UK experience. And if you want to get it with just the kind of job that you're looking for, that, you know, I want to just get in there and start at the top, it's not going to work. It doesn't work anywhere. Even wherever it is you're coming from, I'm sure you didn't start at the top. Do you understand? Develop a thick skin, because you're going to get a lot of unfortunately, we are sorry, unfortunately, we are sorry, but keep going. The more interviews you do, the more jobs you apply to, the more comfortable you get with the system, the more used to the questions you are. So that by the time you're done with school and you're ready to work full-time, you already know where to apply for jobs, you already know the companies where you did good, you already know the kind of questions to expect and how to respond to them. You're already good at taking interviews and selling yourself. So by then you don't have that restriction of 20 hours. We don't want students anymore. You've already poked your head into the job application or job hunting system of the UK, so it's easier for you to, move into there, find a way to get your foot in the door. You need to be realistic. You need to ask yourself questions. What skills do I have? What skills do you have? What skills are you going to go out there and offer when you're looking for a job? How are you going to sell yourself? Do you have any skills? What can you really do? Ask yourself that question. Do you understand? Because if you're coming here as a student, maybe you're working 20-hour jobs, or you're a dependent and you're supposed to be working full-time, what skills do you have? Do you have any skills? What skills are you going to sell? What are they going to pay you for? Do you have any of those? If you do not, then you have time within that 1 year while you're working full-time or whatever. You need to make out the time to start developing a skill that is sought after here. If you have to learn how to be a project manager, you need to get a project manager certification or whatever. Get to it. Do it online. If you need to become a business analyst, get to it. If you need to become a data analyst, get to it. You need to become a digital marketer, get to it. Start learning skills. Start getting online certifications. Start doing research. Find out what it is that you can sell. Find out how you can sell yourself. You're not going to be don't be comfortable. You can't come here and be comfortable, because you will only grow in discomfort. That's the reality. So that first 1 year, be ready to be uncomfortable while you're looking for a job, because it's not that easy to find a company that wants to sponsor you in the first place, and then you're looking for these sponsorship jobs without any skills. You're not being realistic, okay? And then after that, after you've analyze yourself, like, what skills do I have? What skills can I learn? How much time do I need to grow those skills? You need to now develop your career path. Let me tell you something. Forget about whatever it is that you've done or you've achieved where you're coming from, right? I mean, I'm not saying that experience is wasted. No, there's no experience that is wasted. All of those skills that you have, they are valid. That's why I said know what your skills are, know what your experience is, put it down, have it on your CV. But then put your shoulder down. Do you understand? Drop the shoulder first, because when you come here, you're not expecting that because you were a boss where you're coming from, and I'm sure you had to grow to the point where you became a boss. You're now coming somewhere else to start fresh, and you want to start as a boss. It's not going to happen. So you need to plan the kind of career you want to have. Where do you want to start from? How do you plan to move to the next step? Where do you see yourself in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years? What industry do you want to go in? What do you want to tap into? How far do you want to go? How do you want to build your career to the point where you can now be comfortable, where you can get to wherever it is you need to get to? You can't just come in here and take it one day at a time. You need to have a plan. If it's career or business or whatever it is you want to do after, you need to have a plan for it, and you need to have a plan in the beginning, before you leave. Yes, I'm saying you need to think about all these things before you leave home, before you pay the school fees, before you pay, you sell your house, you give away your job, everything that you have in your home country, whether you're comfortable or not, but whatever it is that you're using to survive day after day where you are, before you throw it all away, you need to make all of these plans. You have to understand that this is a fresh start. As you're leaving your home and going somewhere else, it is a fresh start. It's like you're starting fresh, you're starting from nothing. That's why I always advise people, come into this country with money, sufficient money to sustain you for at least a year. I'm not saying it has to be a luxurious life, it has to be a large amount of money. No, but don't come in here hoping to start surviving on the money you earn here. You could if you don't have any other choice. If you didn't have anything else you were doing back home that was giving you anything, if you were already suffering back home, you might as well come and suffer here and be paid for it. That's what I'm saying. But if you know that you were reasonably comfortable back home, then instead of rushing here, take your time to put together enough resources to keep you comfortable when you get here, because you will be starting fresh. You will be asking yourself that, really is it this hard? It is gonna be hard. You know why people are complaining that the UK is so hard, the UK is so hard? They're not thinking about the fact that they need to come here and start fresh, and they need to come here and actually put in the work that they put in when they started their life before. When you started your life earlier, was it not hard? Before you got to a point where it became a bit more comfortable for you, you don't need to come somewhere, stay here 20, 30, 40, 50 years and go back home with nothing. It makes no sense. And a lot of people do that because they don't have a plan, because they don't want to grow, because they just get somewhere, get comfortable, and they don't put steps in place for them to move upwards and forwards. All the odds are stacked against you. You're not in your own house. You can't go to somebody's house and expect them to give you the biggest plate or the largest food in the house. That's the point I'm trying to make. You have to come in here and, create that path for yourself, create a route for yourself that you want to follow. Because the UK immigration, the UK route, staying in the UK is not very easy, it's not very clear. So you need to put yourself in a position where you have all the advantages, you have something to work with. Okay, like I said before, if you are comfortable back home, maybe you have a job, reasonably fair job, maybe you have a business, try to see if you can come in here without shutting everything down there, so that it's a backup plan. Here's what I mean. If you have a business that you're running back home, try and see if you can hire some sort of manager to hold things down for you while you come here and start your life, so that in case things don't work out for you here, you have something to go back to. I'm not just talking this and picking it out of my ears. It's what I did. I had stuff in Nigeria that I held on to until I was sure that I was comfortable here. Before I sold it off, before I gave it away, I held on to it just in case it doesn't work out. I am cautiously optimistic. Yes, I will take the risk. I will try to do something, but I am always cautious about it because I have in my mind, what if it doesn't work? It doesn't stop you from doing it. It doesn't stop you from taking the step. It just gives you this mindset of having a backup plan. So if you have a business there, you have family there, instead of taking your children, everything, and coming here at once, why don't you try and see if you can keep that life you have there for at least a year or so and be sure. If it's impossible, then I understand. But for people who have the possibility of doing something like that, try and do it that way, so that whatever it is you're doing there can still be making you a little money to take care of whatever you have there. So you're not under pressure to make it here, and then start sending something before you are even settled. Do you understand? If you have a job where you don't have to quit, you can apply for study leave. Hold on to the job, apply for study leave, come here and do the study, see how it goes before you quit. Or just in case it doesn't work out for you, you can go back and take your job back. That's in a situation where you have that option. If you don't have any options, then I understand you. What city in the UK are you going to? Do you even know? Have you asked questions about that city? What is that place like? What are the people like? Are there jobs there? The skills that I have, the career path I'm trying to go for, will I be able to find it there? Can I afford the accommodation there? That's because if you want to go to London, right, for example, you need to find out first, what's the cost of rent in London? What kind of houses can I get in London with the budget that I have? If I finish school in London, will I be able to stay back in London? Will I be able to afford to stay back in London? Will there be enough jobs for me? If, say, I'm staying in the north, right, and I want to do, maybe you're staying in Manchester and this is your field, do some research. Are there available vacancies for this job I want to do, this career I'm pursuing? Are there available vacancies in Manchester? If you're going to Wakefield, you're going to Leeds, are there available vacancies there? What's the rent like there? Where can I afford this city? So before you pick a school and say, yes, okay, now this is the school that I'm going to, where is this school? What's the cost of living in that city? Can you grow there? Can you find a job there? What is this city like? Like, if you come to London or anywhere around London, you already know that you're going to be spending most of your money on rent. That's guaranteed. So you need to factor all of this in. Am I going to get enough jobs at the kind of level that I want in this city? Can I live in this city? Is this city good for me based on my bank balance, based on the career path that I have set, based on the skills that I have, based on the family I'm bringing in? If you have a family of 5 and you're coming to look for accommodation in a very expensive city and you don't have the money for that, you're sitting on a desk that only has one leg. So if you have that kind of family, you should be thinking, what's the cheapest city in the UK that I can go to? What kind of travel will I have to do? What kind of commute will I have to do to go to the nearest city with the kind of job that I want? Because you want to be able to afford the size of house that kind of family can stay at a good rate. You need to ask yourself, how long can you survive with the money that you have, especially if you're coming here with a family? But before you'll be able to know how long you can survive with the family that you have, you would have gone through the rest. You already know the potential earnings available there. You already know if job vacancies are available for your skills in that city. You already know what the rent you'll be paying is there. You already know how much it will cost to feed a family of 2, a family of 5, a family of, whatever. So that's when you can now decide, this money that I'm relocating with, how long will it survive me? If it's going to take me 3 to 6 months to find a place to stay, let's say 3 months on average, will this money be enough for me to start a hotel or begging for accommodation or something? Will I start to, beg on the streets or live under the bridge within a particular time? How much will the money you have last until you get a bit of stability? You understand? Because even if you're looking for physical jobs, not the professional jobs, maybe warehouse jobs, care jobs, just to put food on the table for some time, it will still take you maybe a month, 2 months, I say 3 months on average to get one. So the money you have, will it sustain you until that time? Next thing you need to understand is, it's going to be tough. There's something about preparing your mind for something. That's why I said in the beginning that you're starting your life afresh. So if you know that you're coming here with the mindset of starting fresh, you need to realize that it's gonna be tough. Don't come here complaining and telling people don't come to the UK. The UK is too hard. You didn't do your research. You didn't prepare yourself. You didn't prepare your mind. You didn't prepare your bank account. You weren't ready. You should be ready before you get up and leave. And one thing to get you ready is the mindset, which is why some people make these videos like the realities of living in the UK or the realities of living abroad. I don't think it's just the UK. I feel like anywhere you go to and you're starting fresh, you're starting again, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. Do you understand? Even if you want to complain, it's fine. Everybody's human. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, what? Do you understand? But when after you stabilize, after you've settled, it's gonna get easier. You're gonna get used to it. I don't want to go back. That's why I said you need to know why you're leaving your country in the first place, why you're relocating. If I could get a job that I can comfortably pay all my bills and do the basic things for myself on my own in my country, I wouldn't have left, because I would be okay. And I know that that job is secure. And I know that my businesses are secured and nothing's going to happen tomorrow and the prices of buying fabric will triple. I wouldn't go anywhere. I would chill. Do you understand? But if you're going to a place where you're working and as the job is available for you to do, you're doing the job and you're able to take care of yourself responsibly, you're able to pay your bills, take care of your family, you don't have to do the loud life. Do you understand? Especially in the beginning, when you've now settled in, you've now understood the system, you will develop yourself so that you can grow. The more skills you have to sell, the less you have to stress. Let me tell you, if you have more than enough to offer, you get paid your value. And if you get paid your value, it means that you're not going to work as hard. When I first came in here, I expected it. My mind was ready. I was ready to have to do the grunt work before I get to what I want. Do you understand what I actually want to do? It's tougher for some people. I've been lucky. A lot of people haven't been as lucky as I have been. But at the end of the day, I was prepared. My mind was in it. So you need to put your mind in it. You need to be ready. Accept that it's going to be tough. But know that it's not going to be tough forever. It might take you 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I don't know. But eventually, you will settle. And if you have a goal in mind, if you already know exactly why you left, you can encourage yourself with that when it starts to get tougher. Like, it's tough, I'm working all the time, but this is why I left. And did I get that? Yes, I did. But if you didn't even know why you left in the first place, it gets tough, you're just angry. Finally, guys, if your aim of leaving your country and going abroad is to settle there long term, then you need to be sure what the route to settlement is. For the postgraduate study visa, it is difficult, but when you're applying for the visa, they make it clear to you there that these 2 years that you're getting to look for work doesn't count towards permanent residency. So if you stay here for 2 years and you work for 2 years and you do not get a company to sponsor your visa to stay here after, if you don't get a work visa after the 2-year post-study visa, you're going back. It doesn't matter how much you spent on school fees. It doesn't matter that you paid money to get the post-study visa after. You're going back. And you know that when you pay for the visa to come in here, you pay IHS, you pay visa fees, you pay school fees, and then you pay all IHS and visa fees and all of that, and flight for all your family members. After school, and you want to renew for the 2-year post-study visa, you have to pay again. Do you know that? You have to pay the IHS again for the 2 years for you and every member of your family, all your dependents. You have to pay again for the visa fees for you and every member of your family. And I think that for one person is almost £2,000. So if there is 5 of you in the family, that's 2,000 times 5. If there's 6 of you, that's 2,000 times 7. How much are you earning to pay that? Are you ready to pay that? Are you going to be able to pay that? So you need to know all the realities. You need to know all the details. You need to do proper research. Don't just watch a video or hear something and jump on it. Do proper research so that you're ready, so that your family is ready, so that you don't do something and then regret it. So if you're not ready, you'll be realistic enough to know that I'm not ready to do this. I can't afford to do this right now. You take loans that you can't pay back because you find out that at the end of the day, it's not easy to earn that much when you first get here. You don't just get here and start picking money off the floor. You have to settle. You have bills to pay. After everything you've paid to come in here, when you want to stay for the other 2 years, you have to pay the same thing again. You know, so be sure that the route to residency is clear. You have a plan for that before you pack up your bags and say, yes, now I have all the boxes ticked. I'm ready to move. I'm going to do this. I know this video has been long. I know I've been I didn't want to make it personal. I didn't want to talk about my own personal experience. I'm not ready for that. But I hope that I've helped you to be able to know what the boxes are you need to tick before you move. Thank you so much for watching my video today. It was good to have you here. I will see you in the next one. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel if this has been helpful. Bye.